So Elon Musk is suing Sam Altman and everyone connected to OpenAI. Somebody on Twitter said this might be the biggest lawsuit ever, and it might just be. Elon has accused Sam Altman of putting profit before humanity. As you can see right here, lawsuit says Chief Executive Sam Altman's deal with Microsoft has broken the organization's mission. And this is actually a really big deal because if you don't know, Elon Musk and Sam Altman have had a very tumultuous history before Elon left OpenAI back in 2018. Now, this lawsuit is really eye-opening because certain things that were disclosed in this lawsuit aren't publicly being talked about. So it's important to actually talk about some of these things because we are literally on the edge of the cliff where humanity may jump off into an entirely new paradigm. Now, this article published on The Guardian says that the lawsuit filed in San Francisco on Thursday claims OpenAI is now developing AGI, a theoretical form of AI that can perform a range of tasks at or above the level of human intelligence. They are developing it for profit rather than for the benefit of humankind. Now, this is a pretty huge accusation, and this is where things get really crazy. So in the beginning of this lawsuit, you see Elon Musk talking about the risk of AGI. He mentions how AGI poses great threat to humanity and how it is an existential threat. He also says that with strong AGI, the future of this world won't need any humans. Then the document mentions that where Mr. Musk sees an existential crisis in AGI, others see AGI as a source of profit and power. Now, you've all probably heard this stuff before, but the things get interesting in the second part of the document, where it says that Sam Altman actually talked to Elon and said that this is the greatest threat to continued existence of humanity. There are other threats that I think that are more likely to happen, but are unlikely to destroy every human in the universe in the way that super machine intelligence could. And later that same year, Mr. Altman approached Mr. Musk with a proposal that they join forces to form a non-profit AI lab that would try to catch up to Google in the race for AGI, but that this would be the opposite of Google because Google at the time was a company that was, closed source, focusing on, kind of profits and stuff, whereas OpenAI was going to be focused on sharing everything with the world. So Elon, along with Brockman, agreed to Altman's proposal that their new AI lab would be non-profit, developing AGI for the benefit of humanity, and that it would be open source, and they would not keep this technology closed and secret for any commercial reasons. Mr. Musk was a moving force behind the creation of OpenAI, contributing majority of its funding in its first several years. And then, of course, here the lawsuit actually talk about this crazy piece of information that most people keep forgetting, that Microsoft license only applies to OpenAI's pre-AGI models. Microsoft obtains no rights to AGI, and it was up to OpenAI's nonprofit board, not Microsoft, to determine whether OpenAI's models attained AGI. And that is a very difficult thing because, determining whether AGI has been achieved or not is something that is pretty tricky because the definitions are vague. And then another thing that Elon Musk says in the later part of the lawsuit is also pretty crazy. So he says, in 2023, Mr. Altman and Mr. Brockman set the founding agreement aflame. So he's basically saying that in 2023, this is where everything went down the drain. Like the founding agreement was just gone because OpenAI released their most powerful large language model GPT-4. This model was better at reasoning than average humans. It scored in the 90th percentile on the Uniform Bar exam for lawyers, 99th percentile for GRE verbal assessment, 77% in the Advanced Sommelier examination. And at this point, Mr. Altman caused OpenAI to depart from its original mission and historical practice of making its technology available to the public. Essentially, GPT-4's internal design was kept a secret and remains a complete secret except to OpenAI and Microsoft. And what's crazy is that they state here that there are no scientific publications describing the design of GPT-4. Instead, there were just press releases bragging about performance, which I think is very true. And then it says that this secrecy is primarily driven by commercial considerations and not safety. Now, the craziest part of this lawsuit is this statement which says that GPT-4 is an AGI algorithm, and hence expressly outside the scope of Microsoft's September 2020 exclusive license with OpenAI. And another crazy thing that Microsoft's own researchers believe that GPT-4 could reasonably be viewed as an early yet still incomplete version of AGI. And then it says OpenAI is currently developing a model known as Q-Star that has an even stronger claim to AGI. Reuters has reported that OpenAI is developing a secretive algorithm called Q-Star. Reuters has reported several OpenAI staff members wrote a letter warning about the potential of Q-Star and it appears Q-Star may now or in the future be a part of an even clearer and more striking example of AGI that has been developed by OpenAI. And as an AGI, it would be explicitly outside the scope of OpenAI's license with Microsoft and must be made available for the benefit of the public at large. Now, the crazy part is that Q-Star has been mentioned in the lawsuit over and over so many times in different references, so it kinda indicates the severity of the threat this model is going to bring with it. And we all know that pretty insane things happened with the board of OpenAI a few months back, and here in this lawsuit it says that Mr. Altman was not consistently candid with the board. And Mr. Altman and Mr. Brockman, in concert with Microsoft, exploited Microsoft's significant leverage over OpenAI, and forced the resignation of majority of the OpenAI board, including the chief scientist Ilya Sutskever. Mr. Altman was reinstated on November 21st, and the new board members were hand-picked by Mr. Altman and blessed by Microsoft. So, hand-picking of new board members by Sam Altman after getting reinstated and then getting blessings of Microsoft for these board members is definitely an interesting point. Then the lawsuit says, the new board members lack substantial AI expertise and are ill-equipped by design to make an independent determination of whether OpenAI has achieved AGI, and hence when it has developed an algorithm that is outside the scope of Microsoft's license. Until this point of this video, you might have recognized the value of this lawsuit. Now, we know that lawsuits can be drawn out for years, but some of the information that could come out of this lawsuit could genuinely change everything. Now, further down the line, the lawsuit says that OpenAI's website continues to profess that its charter is to ensure that AGI benefits all of humanity. But in reality, OpenAI has been transformed into a closed-sourced de facto subsidiary of the largest technology company in the world, Microsoft. It further says that it's not just developing, but actually refining AGI to maximize profits for Microsoft rather than for the benefit of humanity, which is why GPT-4 is closed source, primarily to serve the proprietary commercial interests of Microsoft. Okay, now here's a crazy part. The lawsuit mentions some insane statements of Microsoft's CEO. He said that it would not matter if OpenAI disappeared tomorrow. We have all the IP rights and all the capability. We have all the people. We have all the compute. We have the data. We have everything. We are below them, above them, and around them. Now, I think what the Microsoft CEO is trying to convey here is that we have, so much infrastructure around OpenAI that even if they disappear tomorrow, we could still continue without them. And this is, of course, as the drama was unfolding when Sam was being fired, and I'm guessing that they're basically saying that, look, if anything happens to OpenAI, we are just going to completely resume control and continue along with the mission. Here the lawsuit states that this case is filed to compel OpenAI to agree to the founding agreement and return to the mission to develop AGI for the benefit of humanity, and not to personally benefit the individual defendants and the largest technological company in the world. So they're basically saying that, look, okay, we created this company, we started out with the benefit to develop AGI for humanity, and now it's just benefiting you guys and, of course, Microsoft. Now, here's another shocking accusation. The lawsuit states that in 2013, Mr. Musk would frequently raise of dangers of AI in his conversations with Larry Page, the former CEO of Google, and to Mr. Musk's shock, Mr. Page was unconcerned. In one conversation, Mr. Musk warned Larry Page that unless safeguards are put in place, artificial intelligence systems might replace humans, making our species irrelevant or even extinct. To which Mr. Page responded, that would merely be the next stage of evolution, and claimed Mr. Musk as being a speciesist, that he favored the human species over intelligent machines. So Larry Page is basically saying that, look, it doesn't matter if humans go extinct, because AI is the next stage of evolution. Now, this is a pretty crazy statement from such a high-profile figure. So these are all very critical points which I've extracted from the lawsuit. Now, we all know that lawsuits can be stretched over multiple years, and this lawsuit might also take years, but I think what Elon is trying to achieve here is that he's trying to extract all the secret internal data out of OpenAI through this lawsuit, and I think it's a really, really smart move by Elon. Also, if you look at one last bit of this lawsuit, in the end, the lawsuit asks the jury to decide whether Q-Star or other OpenAI's large language models constitute AGI or not. So it's going to be interesting to see how the jury tests these models to see whether these models are AGI. Right now, nothing is clear about this. We'll be getting several updates on this matter in the coming weeks or months. So this is it for today's video. See you again next week with another video.